Hello and welcome to MBS Radio 97.1 FM. And you are listening to Your Environment, a program designed to promote healthy environment for healthy living. Today, our focus will be on the overview of African activities for climate change. But before then, as we all know, we are living in a world of extremes. One day, it's a scorching sun, the next, a torrential downpour. From the stories of farmers worried about the next harvest to the resilience of coastal communities building against the rising tides, the signs are all around us. This isn't just about polar bears and melting ice cap anymore. It's about our homes, our food, and our future. Join us as we explore the real-life impacts of climate change, not just the science, but the stories of those on the front lines, and the inspiring people working to create a more sustainable tomorrow. I am Amina Abubakar, your presenter, and joining me in the studio are Mr. Ango Adamu, Executive Secretary, YMCA, and State Coordinator, African Activist for Climate Justice, AACJ.
Thank you.
And also in the studio I have Mr. Joshua Jonathan, National President, Association of Small-Scale Agro-Producers in Nigeria, ASSA, PI, and ASAPIN.
A pleasure to be here.
You're welcome, sirs.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go straight to what we have for today. The African Activities for Climate Justice, AACJ, is winding down in Nigeria and 8 other African countries from 2021 to 2025. Can you highlight the objectives of the project? We'll start with you, State Coordinator.
Okay, the African Activists for Climate Justice Project is a project that was conceived by 5 consortium partners: PACJA, Oxfam Novib, Femnet, Natural Justice, and African Youth Commission. And it is implemented in 8 African countries such as Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Somalia, and South Africa.
Okay.
And the main broad goal of the project is to help people live decent life in spite of the challenges of the environment.
Okay.
Is to help people amplify the voices of the women, the youth, the communities, and especially the sidelined vulnerable people, to be able to advocate to either private sectors, government, and whoever that has a stake on climate change, to be able to come together to support, at the end of the day, to have decent life like normal human beings.
Okay.
So that is the broad goal of the project.
Okay, so I don't know if you have anything to add to what our State Coordinator just mentioned.
Well, just to add is that the project focused mainly on united voices to demand for their right, human integrity.
Okay.
Because if you don't do that, the climate change is already affecting a lot of human beings. And so we need to live a decent life.
Okay.
So we have to demand for the life to be given to us to live the way it is expected of us to live as human beings.
Okay, so having said about the objectives of the project, what are the pathways of the project?
Well, the project has 5 pathways.
Okay.
But I'm not going to talk about the 5 pathways. I'm only going to talk about the pathway that has to do with us in Nasarawa State.
Okay.
For us as YMCA and ASAPIN, the sub-implementing partners in the state, we have worked throughout the 5 years on pathway number 4, which has to do with strengthening community adaptive capacity to be able to be resilient in climate change issues. So in this pathway, we have done a lot of activities such as creating awareness on the effect of climate change and the environment. We'll be able to do a lot of capacity building of communities, women, youths, other civil society organizations, even including media. We had a workshop targeted at the media to be able to report evidence-based climate change issues, so that they can advise the government to take actions. We have been able to establish climate change clubs in secondary schools. We've organized schools debates, and we've done training on briquette production as an alternative to cutting down trees.
Okay.
We have also supported all the 13 local governments, at least one community or 2, to be able to establish community nursery of trees to plant, so that they'll be able to help the issue of deforestation. So these are some of the things that we've been able to do in these years, and the project is winding up, we feel it's good we share. We wanted our beneficiaries to talk on our behalf.
Okay.
But it couldn't work. It's not good you singing your song yourself.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if you have anything also to add.
Well, he has mentioned the real thing, what we have done and the pathway that we expected to implement. So I think basically those are the things that we did.
Okay. So talking about the pathways of the project, how can you now access the implementation so far here in Nasarawa State?
Well, to assess it, just like he said, you cannot be a judge over yourself. But it is become imperative that we have to do that because our beneficiaries are not here.
Okay.
So, but what I will say is that the project have brought a lot of improvement in terms of knowledge gain from the beneficiary. At least before, people are not really aware of climate prediction that is happening. People will just assume that something just happened naturally. But now there are predictions that NAMEC is also making. People are now beginning to
taking precaution
because of the impact of this project. And many people already, like the nursery establishment, briquette production, women are taking it as a business for themselves now. And even some community are taking it as a community general platform to mitigate climate change, especially like the first enforcing community of Ngoji in the Nasarawa Igon local government. That community have spoiled a lot of issue in mitigating climate change. They even raise, not just raise seedling, they even go to the wild to look for seedling that are good for their community to plant as a tree planting campaign. So those are the things that we can say the projects have done well, has bring knowledge to people, and people now beginning to get aware, except for those few that are still hanging that climate change is not real. But it's the impact, they are feeling the impact. I'm sure they will now also get to agree that climate change is real.
Okay, so speaking about the seedlings that you just mentioned, who assists these women with the seedlings? Is it your project or they get it elsewhere?
Well, the project supported all these community, about 18 community in Nasarawa State, with seedling, at least 1,500 seedling per community of improved oil palm seedling, brought from the Research Institute in Benin. And the project procured this thing free and distributed it to the local government, this community freely. They didn't pay anything for getting this thing. And after raising it, they distributed it to their members. People planted it in their farm and they become the owners of those trees, seedling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just to add and to be specific, we're talking of evidence-based. If you go to our local government, Mahanga is our community that started that nursery. If you come down to Obi, you will find a community nursery in Tudadebu. If you go to Kiana, we did it in Sarkinoma. In Doma, we did it in Alwaza. In Lafia here, it was in Mejida Mayakuya and then BAG. Go to Nasarawa Igon, you find it in Agunji and Ngubi community. In Akwanga, it was Puhar and Sakwe. Go to Kefi, there's a village called Ngotila along Kaduna Road. In Karu, it is Masaka. Nasarawa, it is Marmara. And Toto, we have it in Shafonkuto. Just to be precise and to be specific, that all these communities benefited from these oil palm seedlings which they have planted. Some will be planting by next year, but the remaining community have already transplanted to their permanent field, and these trees can last for more than 60 years as they will be benefiting from it as our support through this AACJ project.
Okay, in case you're just joining us, this is 97.1 FM and you're listening to Your Environment. And I've been speaking with Mr. Ango Adamu, Executive Secretary, YMCA, and State Coordinator, African Activist for Climate Justice, AACJ. And also I have Mr. Joshua Jonathan, National President, Association of Small-Scale Agro-Producers in Nigeria, ASAPIN. Okay, before now, we were talking about implementation so far here in Nasarawa State. Now let's look at the key achievements recorded during the 5-year projects in Nasarawa State.
Well, just to buttress on what I already mentioned, what we call as achievement in this project is the fact that we have been able to mobilize and created a lot of awareness through the media, through our campaigns, organizing, World Environment Day, International Women's Day platforms, organizing schools debates, organizing rallies and campaigns, to help people be aware of effect of climate change on them and the environment. We have touched the lives of women, youths, communities, and the sidelined vulnerable people with knowledge on climate change, because still a lot of people do not believe that climate change is real. People attribute it to our sin, that the rain is not coming because of our sin, there is drought, people should repent, all this, forgetting the fact that climate change is a scientific study, and the issues are real. So it needs a lot of time to educate people to be aware. And once they are aware, it will help them to take right decisions, especially like we receive information from NIMET on seasonal rainfall prediction for each local government in the state. We step it down to people and help them to take decisions. Look, this year, from so month to so month, the rain will start and it will end. So we give the farmer a very good time to decide what particular crop to plant, so that he should be able to cope with the limited rain we have. And we have also advised people, on flood, because we experience flash floods. Flash flood means anytime there is rain for more than 6-8 hours, flood can occur. Not necessarily people living in the riverine areas. But we know that the federal government marked or mentioned from 4 local governments that are prone to flood in Nasarawa state, like Awe, Kiana, Doma, and Nasarawa. These are prone, but we also have flood in other local governments. So part of the work we did is to continue to educate people on dangers of flood, dangers of drought, what actions can we do to cope. So these are some of the things we'll be able to do. And we also work with civil society organizations that are doing something around climate change. We have also worked with some MDAs like Ministry of Environment, NADP, Ministry of Agriculture, and so on and so forth, so that we come together as an entity to fight, because climate change or nature has no mercy on anybody. It's either you act or it acts on you. And so we have to respond and respect to nature by doing some of these things we are supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, Africa as a continent is not contributing up to 10% the global damage to climate change. The West, Australia, Japan, India, China, these are the countries that are producing goods in large quantities using fossil fuel, and that the people causing the damage. We here, we are the one receiving the brunt. So we have to take action. And we thank the Ministry of External Affairs, Netherlands, for supporting the AACJ project so that we can create awareness and demand for justice, so that we can live decent life at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has said it well. The joy about this job is that we work with different actors from different ministry, government, private sector, and community leaders, and we are able to establish even community champion, climate change champion, which have already go a long way to sustain the gain of this project in our community. They will be relating with the climate information to people within their community. Yeah. I think that was one of the great gain that we have already established in this community he mentioned.
Okay, so above all that is being said here, talking about the achievements, the implementation, pathways of the project and all of that, I believe that there are challenges in all of this. So now, what are the challenges encountered during the implementation of the project?
Well, there's no thing that you do in life that you may not face little or much challenge. I think from this project, the initial challenge was people getting to believe that climate change is real. Because some people still say, we don't believe in this. This is a natural occurrence that they just happen anytime they want to happen, they can just happen.
Just as you said, that some people attribute it to maybe the sins that we do.
Yeah. So I think those are some of the challenges we face initially. But as we progress on the activities of the project, at least more people going to believe that climate change is real. Because of the way sensitization was made, they also see the impact, and then they know that the impact that they are feeling is part of the climate change experiences they are feeling. Okay. So I think the people have made up their mind to work towards it, to improve their life through it. Now, secondly, finance is everything when you are talking about establishing anything you want to do. Sometimes the money will not come the time you want it. You want to do activity, the money will not come at that point. But all the same, at least one of the things that we face. And then in some community entries, it becomes very hard people to manage whatever we have to put in the table for the community. Some people are just thinking you just give them and go away, but we have to monitor and ensure that the right thing is being done. And then some community we went, there is issue of water, even to get water to water the nursery that was being established in those community. And sometimes they had to go and fetch water from a far distance to come and water the plant. So those become a challenge for us. One of the challenges also that I noticed was response of the government agency to the needs of the people. Sometimes like seedling or seeds, variety of crop that is being promoted through the climate smart agriculture. People are not getting what they expected to get to use through the government agency. So I think government can do good by promoting seed production industry even within the state, so that people can get what they expected to get. Because in the climate scenario, many people prefer to use seeds that are short duration, which can mature in good time. And so if you have less water, at least you'll be able to harvest something to using those varieties. Those things have helped a lot. So those are the challenges that we come across during the implementation.
Maybe, sorry, just to add to one challenge so that it doesn't escape.
Okay.
Is the fact that the project is winding up now at the time that we have gotten a lot of interest from other communities. And we don't have anything to do. More people are coming now. Okay, what can we do? How can we be part of this project? Unfortunately, the project is ending. So it's a major challenge. And we want to use this platform to call on other climate change actors, government establishment, private people that have, resources to support climate change and environment issues. Should please come forward so that we can have decent life instead of just depending on donors. No, we should be able on our own to feel as a responsibility to be able to come together and support our people to live a decent life through fighting the menace of climate change.
Okay, and we talked about the achievement recorded during the 5-year project in Nasarawa State. Now let's talk about the plan to sustain the gains achieved so far. Because, you were talking about the project is winding up, and you're looking at how this sustainability will be there and how it's going to last. Yeah. So now let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think for us, we are very happy to, share that the structure we created using AACJ platform will help to sustain the project to some extent. Like, we already have climate change clubs in schools who will be using the knowledge to educate other ones. It's very sustainable. We have youths that have been trained to dramatize climate change issues in form of providing education to community anytime we have stakeholders meeting or town hall meetings. They are already there on ground. It will interest you to know that we trained about 15 or 17 media journalists on how to report climate change issues. For us in Nasarawa State here, we have also worked with traditional leaders in all these communities I mentioned who have knowledge on climate change issues, so it is also sustainable. And even the oil palm seedlings that have been planted can last for more than 50-60 years.
Okay.
Even though the project is ended this year, it will still be re-echoed because of the oil palm seedling that can last for more than 50-60 years.
That's a long way to
go.
So
I think with this, we are very happy that the project is physically ending, but the impacts and the plans we have on ground, and even the community development planning approach is a tool that we use, helping people to be able to advocate, starting from the local governments with our House of Assembly members, the state. Instead of begging for individual things, they can seek for support on climate change issues as a community, not as individuals. So all this knowledge has been given to our communities, and I'm sure with little or no support, they should be able to carry on from there. And we've done our best. Because it's a funded project that has ended, we cannot do more than this.
Okay, when this project came into existence, now how did the communities embrace the campaign, especially on climate change? I mean, how did they embrace this very project?
It was very difficult from the beginning. Okay. People are used to doing things their own way. If the rain does not come, they know they will continue to wait. Now you are coming to tell them that no, the rain is not coming because of climate change. What is climate change? They ask you in Hausa, what is climate change? You'll be looking at them. So it took time for us to explain. And when we try to share the effects, the impact of climate change, they can relate. Okay. And when they relate, they share the information with others. And that is how we continue to gain interest towards the end of the project, even more than the way we started. So I want to assure you that people embraced the project. Thank God that we are not the only one implementing climate change project in the state. There were a lot of other stakeholders who were making the same noise. So it got into people's ears and they feel, no, these things are real. And even especially the media, the MBS. I will never forget this media house because we've done a lot of episodes for the past 4 years. You've been helping us to educate people. People call us to even ask questions. I think we're very happy to see that, yes, these are some of the measures in place that will help the project to continue even after now.
Okay, even though time is not really on our side, but what are your calls to benefiting communities of Nasarawa State and beyond?
Well, for me, I think everybody should embrace this climate issue and take action, because taking action means your tomorrow food, your tomorrow health, environment, health-wise, because if you don't do it, we will all be there in a crossroad. So taking action is the most important for me, for everyone who is hearing us now to take, because doing it is very, very important for our living, decent living, for that matter.
Okay, so but before we wrap the show, are there areas not touched during the 5 years campaign that may require call for extension?
Well, continuous climate change education should never stop.
Okay.
It should be a daily thing for everybody. Because if we don't continue with the education on climate change, there are a lot of people out there that have no knowledge on climate change.
Okay.
So this should be a continuous thing. And I want to also call on the government to support research institutions, especially those that have something to do with agriculture, so that they can help them develop improved variety of seeds, of livestock, of anything that can cope with the realities of climate change. We should not be doing the same old things we are doing because we want to live decent life. We should be going with the new technology, with the new wave that we are finding in our environment. Environment has nothing to do with us. It is we that have something to do with the environment. If we care for the environment, we live longer. We don't care for the environment, we quit.
Okay, so before we go, your message to the general public on the overview of African activities for climate change. I'll start with you, State Coordinator.
Okay, I want to call on all the benefiting communities we have mentioned, those that have planted oil palm seedlings, either as individuals or community farms, to continue to maintain them and take care of them, because it's going to be of great benefit to them. And they should also continue to extend the knowledge they have gained as far as climate change issues is concerned to others that will not be able to reach. This is my call.
Okay.
Yeah, mine is to government to take action where necessary, because taking action means progress for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so very much, Mr. Ango Adamu, Executive Secretary, YMCA, and State Coordinator, African Activist for Climate Justice, AACJ, and also Mr. Joshua Jonathan, National President, Association of Small Scale Agro Producers in Nigeria, ASAPIN. Really appreciate your time so far here on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's a wrap for today's show. Thank you for tuning into Your Environment. I hope our conversation today gives you something to think about and a reason to feel hopeful. Remember, climate change isn't just a headline, it's a call to action. Whether it's in your community, your home, or your heart, every single effort to care for our planet makes a difference. Don't forget to join us next week. Until then, stay green, stay informed, and let's work together to create a brighter future. This is Amina Bakar. Thanks.